Hey guys, Malachite here. One more video for the day. Turned around so you can see me. So, this happened the other day at the Dollar Tree and it got me thinking, and yes, I was at a Dollar Tree. I'm always at Dollar Trees. I live at the Dollar Tree. I don't think I'll be at the Dollar Tree again this month. I've got everything I need. But anyway, very handsome young man working behind the counter. And he's the one that was this Supernatural fan that I ended up talking to for a while. And he was talking, we were talking about everything, and then he brought up the subject about, he brought up Jared Padalecki, and was saying how disappointed he was that Jared had his recent mental health issues, and his attractiveness level went from here to about here. I'm like, I said, well, I have depression and I'm a normal person. I said, you know, Jared's a really nice guy. My best friend's been to like 3 cons and she's met him, and he's a really, really nice guy. You know, I said, you know, depression's an illness. Just because you get depressed doesn't mean anything bad about you. And he said, well, I don't know. He said, I've always just kind of seen him as like a crybaby and kind of weak. And I was just like, you know, kind of trying to keep an open dialogue with this guy. And he ended up getting busy. And so I wasn't mad at him because it's not an uncommon mentality, so I wasn't mad at him. I basically am used to that mentality, so it was a good time for an open dialogue. But they started getting busy and I didn't want to get him in trouble, so I plan on going back when I get paid next time. Hopefully he'll be my cashier and we can talk more about it, because and he did say God bless as I left, and I said you too, because a blessing is a blessing. And I don't blame religion for his thoughts, because in Oklahoma a lot of males are raised with an alpha male mentality that you have to be strong, you don't cry, you take it like a man, you don't cry, you don't whimper, you don't get depressed, you don't do any of those things. And I could tell that that's where this guy was coming from. I don't know where he was raised, but it had to be in Oklahoma or Texas or somewhere like that in this area. My guess would be, because I've known a lot of guys like that. In, you know, like I said, because I grew up here and I grew up in a small town, and I just know how guys like that think. So it would be a great dialogue to have, and it would be interesting. But it just brought up with me how much of a stigma there still is with mental illness. I mean, it's 2015, and you know, it really is an illness. It doesn't mean you're broken or anything like that. I have bipolar 1 with agoraphobia and anxiety disorder, and they're just illnesses. That's all they are. They're treated with medication just like any other illnesses. They are chemical imbalances. They happen in the frontal lobe of the brain. There's actually chemicals that do not function properly and synapses that do not fire properly that cause this to happen in my brain. So it's an illness. It's not something that you can get a stiff upper lip and fix. I wish it was. And it's just so surprising to me. And the Four Queens made an excellent video on depression that I watched last night. and I'm gonna post that in the down bar there, because it's excellent, and if you want to watch it, you should watch it. It's 30 minutes long. It's well worth your time to watch it. And I love her channel anyway, so while you're over there, just start checking stuff out, because it's fantastic. So it's just, it seems like it shouldn't be a stigma anymore. You know, I should be able to say that without being afraid to say it, but even in today's society, it's still something that you're afraid to say. I don't feel sorry for myself. I'm not one bit. I think I have a really good life. It's why I can't work. I know a lot of people with it can, and a lot of people are probably arguing right now. I can hear you screaming through my camera. Each person is different. Each person with the same illness is different. So I'm just going to leave it at that and not justify, because I don't have to justify myself. So, but I think it's important for the stigma to be taken away, because young people are being bullied for having mental illnesses, or they're not, this is not a mental illness, but things like autism or Asperger's, which is a form of autism, things like that. And that's very, very serious, because it makes them less likely to seek help from someone when they are feeling very, very depressed or suicidal or things like that. And that can carry over into adulthood, where you are ashamed that you have these conditions, so you don't ask and you don't tell people when you're depressed. Or you can have friends that say that they're with you through everything, but they don't want to hear about it when you are upset or depressed. And I can tell you, those are toxic friends, and you don't need them. Because if they cannot support you, now I'm not saying enable you to be doing destructive behaviors, that's different. But if they can't help you help yourself through hard times, when you're doing your best and you're working through it, and they're not there by your side, then those are not the kind of friends that you need. Or they think they're by your side, but they're constantly criticizing you. Those aren't the kind of friends you need. I've had those friends. They're not good for you. So I guess this is kind of a little rambly video, and that everyone should know that it's okay, that you're not broken if you suffer from one of these illnesses. You're not some broken, discarded thing. You're just a human being who happens to have an illness, and that's okay. You know, some of the most brilliant people have had some of these illnesses. I mean, we wouldn't have Van Gogh's paintings. We wouldn't have, gosh, so many people. Jiminy Christmas, I'm going blank. Abraham Lincoln. I know Albert Einstein. I think he may have had Asperger's and dyslexia. I don't have a list in front of me. Edgar Allan Poe, Sylvia Plath, Mary Shelley, maybe? Am I thinking of the right person? I'm drawing a blank. There's a huge list. You can look it up online. You can just look up bipolar, you can look up depression, you can look up schizophrenia, you can look up just mental illnesses in general. You will find a huge list. Carrie Fisher, who plays Princess Leia in the Star Wars films, is bipolar. Stephen Fry is bipolar. I mean, these are people that are geniuses in what they do. You know, would they be without their mental illnesses? Who knows? I mean, there are studies that correlate the creativity and the creative mind with mental illness. So I'll just leave that at that because I'm not sure how I feel about that. I can say for me personally, there was one particular medication that took every single bit of creativity I had away from me, but mostly because I was just exhausted. I am not for or against medication. I think it depends on the person, so I'm not gonna play doctor. It's not my cup of tea. But yeah, I just think it's something that in any community, the pagan community, the witchy community, the any community, should always be an open dialogue and a friendly dialogue. And if you run into someone like that at a store who's friendly and not yelling at you, just be friendly back, and hopefully maybe they'll get to thinking about it, you know. And if you can just plant a seed where people start thinking about things, then that's great, you know. That's a start. So hopefully maybe there's a start there. And yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to say. And I think everyone is beautiful in their own special way, and that we're all here in this incarnated form, that we are here now the way we are for a specific purpose. We came here this way for a purpose, for a reason. It may not be a lifelong reason. We may have already came here and done the reason we came here for, but we're still here, and life is beautiful, period. And I know for me, having gone through depressive episodes, when I'm not in those, life is just so much more beautiful. But I think life is beautiful for everyone, and life is beautiful, and you are beautiful, and looking at you right there on the other side of the camera. You should say that to yourself every day. You are beautiful, because you are, and all of you are special, every single one of you. And I'm sending much love and many blessings. Blessed be.